Critical!
Groovy. Welcome! What are you doing? What was with that cringy intro that makes me want to kill myself because I'm 11 years old and don't know what humor is anymore? This isn't something that breaks records and shoots 1,000 rounds a minute and kills small animals with sheer manly power. It's a double shot. A Buzzbee Doubleshot. A modified one, but not modified in the way that I want. Why should I care? Excellent questions, dear viewer, that you didn't ask because I'm being pretentious. This is kind of a return to form. Most of this hobby right now is really just everybody amping up, trying to outdo one another in an arms race that will never end. Which is cool and all. I mean, I do the same thing. I make some pretty crazy stuff. But why would I make this? Simple answer is, because it's cool, man. I've wanted to build one of these for. I just figured you just you take the shells. Who likes the shells? The shells suck. Put that in there and pull that down. It's like, yeah! And it's like, and then one of the darts doesn't shoot because that shell was bad, and I tried to make it work anyway. But it still flings out shells past the camera anyway. I can't get enough of this blaster. I've wanted to build something like this for quite some time, and the Buzzbee Doubleshot's just one of those blasters that everybody has to try at least once, and everybody probably has one. In fact, you can still buy this exact blaster, obviously in a full-length configuration, at, like, Walmart. It's been around forever. Everybody has had one of these things at some point in their nerfing career. They show up at thrift stores all the time, and they're super freaking fun. They just perform terribly. If you want to see the actual performance of the blaster, you can click up here and watch the tag back where I show the thing's actually firing. This is not that. This is just me making a modification of one. Mostly cosmetic, mostly fun. And really the biggest mission statement of this entire build is to make a blaster that you can make. To inspire you to kind of go, hey, I don't need to dump $180 into a lipo setup and motors and flywheel cages and flywheels and switches and all this crazy stuff to have fun. Granted, that's pretty freaking fun, but sometimes I just want to challenge myself and build something like this. And will I take this to a war? Heck yeah, I will. This is going to be my my signature move, my taunt, if you will, my end game finisher. If I really want to, I can run this thing. I have hundreds of shells to use with this blaster, and it's just a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Of course, this is not a new modification. Pretty much everybody has done something like this before, and most of the time that you type in, you know, Buzzbee Doubleshot mod, it's basically this. Or rather, it's most likely the side-by-side version, although some people have done, of course, the over-under. I always wonder why every single time I type in Sawn-Off shotgun, you always get the side-by-side configuration. Never in over-under. I don't even know why. I mean, I know over-unders, I guess, aren't that popular. They're certainly more expensive than a side-by-side, but this is, it's so thin and cool, and it fits the pistol motif a lot better, in my opinion, and man, is it fun. If I had there was like an over-under at Walmart for like $330 that I was looking at getting. Heck yeah, I'd spend $330 and $200 to the ATF to chop down that barrel in stock and have this pistol shotgun, and yeah, it'd be awesome, man, and I don't have the money for that, so I do it with a Nerf blaster. But seriously, the whole point about this build right here is that any one of you out there could build something almost identical to it. I put a lot of effort into this, not that it shows because the paint job is absolutely deplorable, and we'll talk about that in just a moment, but there is quite a bit of bodywork that went into this. For one, obviously when I cut off the stock, there's going to be a gap there, and I basically cut it off right with that little, like, handle tail thing right there. And how am I going to fill that in? I struggled with this. And I decided to take the end off the Sentinel, because, you know, I'm going to restock the Sentinel anyway, probably with the Slingfire stock, and cut it up and put it on there, and puttied it, and did all sorts of stuff. Now, it still has the gap along the sides right there, because it's pretty much going to have one, but it's relatively clean. Not perfect, but it's about the best I could possibly do to it with all the sanding and stuff I did. And then the barrel. I cut off the barrel, and then I took the very end part of the barrel, I cut that off, and then glued it to the front with literal super glue. Not hard. Other modifications? That's pretty much it, except for one major thing. One of my biggest gripes about this blaster is that the actual brake barrel release mechanism sucks horribly. Not only is it uncomfortable, but you have to like reach all the way up. It's really a pain. So what I did is I took a hammer shot hammer, cut it down, and glued it on there. And I cut a little thing right in there so it meshes up perfectly. And you pull that down, and it's not like I'm going to be able to break it by slamming it or anything like that. It's not going anywhere. It's perfectly stable. And, well, that solved every problem I had. So now I have a blaster that's very easy to break apart. I can shove shells in there. And as you saw, it's really fun to fire the thing, dump the shells out, shove 2 shells into it, pull that back down. And yes, the actual pull, because the blaster originally has, like, it primes when you go like that. There's a string. It's literally a string-powered blast. Not really. It uses a string to pull down the actual plunger tubes, and every single one of these I've ever seen broke. In fact, this one had breaking pieces in it that were, you know, it still functioned, but they were broken. And, well, most of the time you will take that string and route it out the back, and then you'll just pull on the string, and that's way easier to prime. I don't like the string thing. Everybody does the string thing. I was kind of bored of the string thing, so I still did the string thing. You kind of have to at some point, but I have a key ring on there now until I can find something cuter to put on the end of this thing. But yeah, you just pull that back, it'll click twice, and there we go. It is primed. The first time you fire it, that's going to go back in, and then of course the second shot, because it's on like, there's like a guiding rail in here where the plunger tubes, there's like you pull that down, it's got like a tray, and then when you fire it, the tray goes back and the other one stays back. You get what I'm talking about. I'm just kind of filling dead space, but the paint job I'm really proud of. At least I was when I first did it. This is based off, well, the pistol from S4 League. That was for some reason stuck in my head. I really wanted that paint scheme, so I did this kind of gray purple, light purple, lilac kind of thing. A little girly, but I think it pulls it together pretty well with some white highlights. And then this weird checkerboarding effect at the front of it. I could have gone with a more grayer purple, but I couldn't find one, so I went with this one. And I was really proud of this paint job, and it looks pretty freaking good, in my opinion. I mean, I even had this, like, kind of scale effect going on. I could have made it a little more pronounced, but there's actually, like, a stripe on here. I started off sanding down the entire thing once I was done, and I went over it with primer, because you need to go over it with primer. And then I didn't like how the ends looked, so I sanded those down a lot more. It didn't matter, I already primed it. I sanded those down, puttied them, got all that together, good to go. And then I went over the entire thing with this purple, or gray, whatever you want to call it, blue even, maybe. And after that, I taped off all the stuff I wanted to keep gray, which was a lot of the blaster. I taped all of that stuff off and left a couple of sections to paint it white. So this right here, I literally taped that, drew a checkerboard pattern on there, and used a hobby knife to cut out the individual squares. And I think it looks pretty good. And I painted it, and I was really happy. I used Rust-Oleum 2X stuff, which is what I use for everything. And then after I had painted it, I had let it sit for a while, and then I picked it up and I brought it to my desk, and I was going to try to reassemble it, and I put my thumb on it, and the paint slid right off with my thumb. All over the place, in fact. I'm really upset about that. So I just attacked it with rub and buff to try to make it look worn, and I ruined my entire paint job, which is as per usual with me. But I still like how this thing turned out, and most importantly, it's fun. It's some of the most fun I've ever had with a blaster, because you just fire off those things, dump shells, shove new ones in there, fire it off again. It is a lot of fun, and this thing will be a mainstay in my arsenal. I will run it into the ground, mostly just for fun. Of course, the performance is absolutely terrible. I will have to modify many of my shells, but that's a small price to pay because, you know, once you modify the shells, you can get some pretty decent performance out of these things because these plunger tubes and springs are not bad at all. It's just kind of a finicky air delivery system with those stupid shells, but you rebarrel a couple of the shells and you're good to go. And I think the best part about this is if I can get 2 Steffens in each shell, then I get two shots, so 4 shots, so shotgun, and it'll be really fun. And I'm quite happy with how it turned out.
Yeah. All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. See this? This is my boomstick!
Yeah, it's not a crazy, stupid, awesome modification, but I liked it. I spent a bit of time on it. It got me back into doing body work, which I don't do a whole lot right now. I haven't done a whole lot of body modification, and now I'm just kind of warming up into this so I can finish off a couple of my commissions and start working on the next things I want to build, which is... God, I have so many unfinished projects. You'll be seeing those down the pipeline soon, but let me know what you think about the Buzzbee Doubleshot. I haven't even given a name to this thing yet. If you have a good name, let me know down in the comment section, because I can't think of one. And so, yeah, I'll pick one of those names. That's a good idea. So let me know what you think you would call this thing, and if you've modded one of these before or seen anything quite like this. I was really tired of everybody doing the realistic paint job, so I decided to go with this crazy purple thing, but I think it worked out. And I'm just rambling. This is a lot of fun, and I really hope this inspired you to do the same thing, because this is cool. I really do like it. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. I'm Walcom S7. Thank you very much for watching this video, and of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different one.